Welcome, 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 welcome. It's Wednesday, the middle of the week. Wanted to come on real quick and just tell everyone how very grateful we are. If you're looking at this part, if you're looking at this recording, if you are hearing this recording, we are so blessed. People are dying. Last week we had an unexpected death. My 37-year-old god sister passed. And I can remember us always talking about her goals and what she wanted to do. She was 37 years old and she was working at a restaurant. However, she did not own the restaurant. It was one of her goals to own the restaurant. And unfortunately, that will never happen because she's deceased now. And I just want to take the time out to tell everyone, don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. Putting off things, you never know where we fall in life. You never know what happens. And for the most part, we end up being fearful of moving forward and doing what we know we really want to do. And there's a process. There's a process. I know for me, I started this process in 2015 by getting a coach to help me kind of just figure some things out in my head because by the age of 50, there are some goals I have and I have to have them done in my head because both of my parents are at retiring ages. My father will be retiring now. He's already retired, and my mother retires next year. And there's only so much amount of money that they can get each month. And my parents have been go-getters all their lives. And so I have to level up. So I don't want you looking at the ages about who people are. Well, I'm younger, you're older. Doesn't matter. Goals are goals. And when you place them, when you create them, you want to make sure you execute to get to them. But it's a process. And today I just want to speak to those people who are middle-aged, those people who have raised your children, they're out of the house, or who have been in a marriage and all of a sudden you're divorced, or who have been on a job and you've moved up the ladder, but it's not fulfilling. I want to speak to you today. And I've entitled it, What About Us? I often tell young people, do it now. Go hard now, because when you get older and you have more responsibilities, you will not be able to do it. You can, but it'd be more difficult when you can do it now. And so in hindsight, I want to talk to people who maybe have some regrets. We want to erase that word regrets, because as much as we know, our path is our path, and we don't want to look at it as, oh my God, I wish I didn't. What did I learn from that? We want to take those lessons, we want to bundle them all up, and moving forward, we want to create a life that we want. We have the power to create the life that we want without a lot of money, without a lot of people supporting you, because those are big barriers that I've seen in people wanting to go to another level. I don't have the money. I don't have the support. And that's true. We do need those things. But like my story, you have to start small. I got connected with a coach who was a world-renowned coach. And the first question he asked me was, how committed are you? Are you committed to transforming your life? If you're not committed to transforming your life, it doesn't matter, because without money, without the support, without this and out that, you're still going to achieve your goals. And he said, I only deal with people making $50,000 or more. I said, well, that counts me out. We might as well not even go any further. He said, no. He said, I want to ask you some questions. And from his questions, we connected. We found out about the whole, you're supposed to have faith in God, you're a man of God, and we were connected. And that was the first time I invested in myself. And I didn't utilize the tools. And so here, 3 years later, I'm looking again. I wanted to go to a conference. And don't get it necessarily twisted up, because people who are leaders, there's a certain belief that your church should help you, your church should support you, and they should. But there are times when in life, what can be available is not available. Everyone is trying and striving to reach goals and become better stewards over the money and have budgets and buy houses and get cars and stay on top. And so sometimes it depends on what type of ministry you have. You might not have those people that are able to give you anything. And I wasn't brought up in the era of let people take care of you. My father didn't teach me that. So I'm brought up in the era of do it yourself. You don't have to worry about people. And then you can get into a problem with that because there are people that God have assigned to you that should be able to help you. And I mean sow into your life. I mean invest in you. So it's just tricky. However, you want to make sure. I was sitting around, I was looking, and this is the very first ugly truth. You have to assess where you are and how you got there. And if you say they did it, she did it, then you messed up already. What did you do to get yourself in a spot to be frustrated with your life? I sat and I looked around, and I wanted to go to a conference that would build me to be able to help my church, and I could not go. Why? Because I did not have the money. And more importantly, the people had promised and they didn't come through. And if I can tell you and be honest with leaders, I'm talking about pastors, with people who have said, we have your back and we're going to do it and we're going to raise it, and it doesn't happen. You don't per se cry and throw a tantrum, but on the inside, you're crushed. You would never tell your people that, but you're crushed because most of the time, anytime a good shepherd says, I want to go here, I want to do that, I want you guys to pray that I get there, then you really want to do it. It's something that's really in your heart. And when I looked around at this, and I couldn't even go to this little conference that I wanted to go to, I said, you know what? Something's got to change. I don't want to depend on anybody. I don't want to do that. And I need to get something in my business. I've always pushed other people. And you hear people say that, you middle-aged people, us middle-aged people, you hear sometimes a 30-year-old say it and 25, you just want to strangle them. Shut up. Where have you been? What have you, how are you trying to compare yourself with me or your story with mine? And I had to learn, it's not that they're comparing it, that's their experience. And you just learn to love it. You say, oh, okay, that's good. But on the inside, you're thinking, I'm going to listen to you, but you're 20. I'm twice you, and I've done more than what you've done because you haven't lived as long as I have. And if I had any kind of productivity, I've been doing it longer. But you listen, and you listen to them, and you hear them trying so much to connect with you, and you go from there. But the main point is, what detour did you take to be frustrated and stuck? That's what it was. I was stuck. I was completely stuck. Divorced. You're not a dad anymore because your kids are grown. They're out the house. What do I do? What do I do? Who am I? Who am I? And so you have to assess yourself. I assessed myself, and I said, I'm here because I can't depend on people. I can't depend on people for self-wants, which are important to me. I'm going to say it again. My self-wants. There's something called personal care, and I believe in that. But some of that personal care is on you. It's personal. Some people don't care about your personal care. So it's on you. I had to find a way to get some more knowledge and skills to build up the platform I was already on. And God has done that. I invested. It wasn't easy, but I invested. And I paid payments. My book that I wrote, I had to pay payments. The group that I joined, I had to pay payments. My new branding coach had to pay payments. And so even though I was an entrepreneur, and I found out that most entrepreneurs are still entrepreneurs, but they have some other type of career that they use sometimes. So it's not uncommon for entrepreneurs to have other income working with someone. Notice I said with, not for. Working with someone, because their knowledge of what their entrepreneurship is, they've used it in a company to help build it, but it's contracted or whatnot. And that's a whole other subject. We're not talking about it right now. And so you had to find yourself, and I had to invest in myself, and finally I had to execute it, because I can write things down all day long and not execute it. It means nothing. I had to execute. I had to go after this goal. So, 2 years later, the Lord has blessed me to be an international radio show host. This didn't happen overnight. I was turned down for doing radio like 10 times. 10 times in a 2-month span. And the ad said, you don't need any experience at all. And I'd done some podcasting and I'd done some little interviews on the radio, and this was just a news station. I would be able to read it. Some years ago, I had to pay $700 and I got a certification in the radio commercial and programming. So that was good that I went, because I knew how to read the scripts. However, these people turned me down 10 times. And then I was networking, and I came to a radio station that I could have been on back in January. However, I had to see where I fit, where I fit and what I did. And so in doing that networking, I finally landed to a place where I can call home right now. And I can interview the people and the content that I feel will help the audience that I reach. And so God is doing that. And I just told you that small story because, remember, it's all about goals. I had to start here. Do I get any money for it? No, I do not. I'm not worried about that right now, because I know that if I keep doing what I'm doing, my gift will make room for me and bring me for a great man. Not only that, even in my coaching, I'm a coach now, and I have people that's coming to me. And so you have to start somewhere. If you're middle-aged and you don't know where to start, you don't know how to start, and you say it's too much money, trust me, you want to get out of that. I know it's hard when you have raised children and you have been a spouse and you have been this and been that, been this and been that, and you lose you. And it's not easy, especially for us men that are middle-aged. We feel just washed out. And you don't want to do that. So today I want you to win. And what about us? Those middle-aged people who are parents are getting older and their kids are out the house. What do? You're not fulfilled at that job. You're not fulfilled in that career. You feel like you're stuck. You are stuck. Your wife's thriving or your husband's thriving. It seems like you're stuck. That is what you do. You want to first assess where you are. Where am I? How did I get here? Number 2, you want to write down that vision. What is it that you want? Where do you want to be? And then how am I going to get there? And that's the most important part, because then how am I going to get there? And you're writing those steps for that process. You want to carry it out. You don't want to ever just write it and not be there. You want to do that. So today, it's all about reaching your goals. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how old you are. If you're stuck and you feel like you can't move and can't do this, and follow those steps. Assess where you are. Get quiet. Still that noise and say, where am I? And you have to be honest with yourself. Where am I? So I hope that this can help you on your journey. I'm excited about what's going on around me, what's going on with me, and I can't wait to just continue to hear positive feedback and positive testimonials of people who once were frustrated. I'm frustrated, I'm agitated, and you have made the necessary adjustments to get where you need to go. So it's never too late. If you missed the story, this lady was 88 years old, and she was in Black Panther, her first ever time acting. Last year, she took some acting classes and started auditioning. Her 88. And so we have no excuses. To reach your dreams and live out your goals is no reason. There is a purpose in every single one of us, and I know that you have one too. So today, this is our winning Wednesday.